be a witness to every man, to see your kingdom on earth as in heaven. I'll do all that I can.
Okay, so we're thinking at this point. Yeah, I'm recording. It's okay.
Would you can edit it?
I can edit it, but I don't necessarily have the need. I'm talking about what we're talking about here today. I read a little article on the U.S. spy court, the NSA, to keep collecting phone records, according to the Washington Bureau of the Associated Press. A secretive U.S. spy court. Did anybody even know we have a secretive? I guess not, because it was a secret. U.S. spy court. Well, they ruled, again, it says, that the National Security Agency can keep on collecting Americans' phone records if they want to. Now what? That's what it says. Every day, I'm quoting the article, I didn't make it up. Every day, in the midst of dueling decisions in two civilian federal courts about whether the surveillance program is even constitutional. So whether it's constitutional or not, the U.S. spy court, the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Court, they renewed the NSA's phone collection program, which actually has been in existence since 2006. So that's what we're kicking off with today. It's January the 3rd. I just found that one amusing. We can do whatever we want to do, kind of like when Obama said, I can blow up Syria. I believe I can do that. So I'm going to do that. And then he came back later and said he cooperated with everybody not to do that and save Syria from getting bombed. But once again, we're dealing with false evidence appearing real. I'll take 1 second here. Pause.
By any means necessary, I'll be a witness to every man, to see your kingdom on earth as in heaven.
Okay, so I'm back. And I'm going to talk about a couple of things here that I found interesting. The obsession about the cold weather. Yeah, I grew up in St. Louis where it's below zero. It's always below zero for at least a week or two in St. Louis. It always has a snowstorm, something on the East Coast, Northeast. I did a show in Buffalo, New York once. I've never seen so much snow in all my life. So, I don't understand why that's at the front of the news, but I think they said something like over the new year, December 31st to January 1st, something like 14,000 new laws went into place nationwide. Some of them are state laws, some of them are federal laws. But just so you know, you might want to look at your state and see what kind of laws they pulled out of their back pocket to hold over your head and your life. You might want to look that up yourself. One thing about the Grown Ass Citizens motto is that you have to think for yourself. And you know what? You got to do your own research. The things that I'm saying, nobody came and poured it into my head. I actually read the articles, look at the reports, and follow world news from all over. I look at very little news produced here in the United States. I don't recommend it, but if you like it, I love it. As my mother used to say. Anyway, so we talked about the spy court. That was cool. Talked about the weather. It's cold. Yeah, it's wintertime. Prayers for anybody that's having a really hard time, particularly when the power's out. But you know what? Everybody should probably make some kind of backup plan for when power is out anyway, because at some point the power is going to get shut off, I believe, nationwide, just for a minute. I think that's what that 3 days of darkness everybody spookily talks about. There shall be 3 days of darkness. Yeah, it's probably going to be them turning off the power, so they can get martial law in effect some kind of crap like that. I don't know how soon that'll be, but put it on the back burner. Just remember that you heard it here. So when it happens, you're not scared. So get you some solar panels. And I mean, that's what I did. I took some solar training. So at least if I had a couple panels around here, I could hook them up and try to make a backup plan. That's on my agenda for 2014. I highly recommend that you get a backup plan too, even if it's just a generator, an oil generator. But you need to have a backup plan. Okay, so that's that for the weather. And okay, now you know what? I'm just going to say this about this next little section. I don't want anybody to get mad at me. There's an article that's titled Long Waits for Would-Be Immigrants, Not for Others. And the article says, basically, it starts off talking about Sergio Garcia, which is the Californian who was granted a law license, despite the fact that he is still waiting. This article says, quote unquote, in vain, since 1994 to get an immigration visa. Maybe now that he's a lawyer, he can get a job-based visa. He can hire himself, right? There you go, and get an employment visa. I don't know if that's actually legally true or not, but I thought it was funny. Now, if you're one of my friends who is sympathetic to, immigration reform or kind of sensitive on this subject, you might want to pause or skip or whatever. But I'm going to try to be as politically correct as I can. But, how can you be politically correct about somebody being an illegal immigrant? I'm going to just say this. As an African American, I take offense to the whole process because of everything that my people had to go through to become citizens, like die. Yeah. That's what happened to my ancestors, literally. I even had some ancestors who were recaptured into slavery after they had already gotten their freedom during the Civil War, sold off into slavery, and never heard from again. All for the cause of the Civil War of the United States of America, which started the process of at least making us feel like we were citizens somewhat, kind of, sort of, sometimes. Yeah, I guess the people that have Lexi to drive and six-figure incomes, I'm talking about African American people, I guess they probably feel the most like citizens. And then the people that are extremely disenfranchised, that have no jobs, no health care, no money, and live a subsistent life of poverty here in the United States, they probably feel the same as their ancestors did, much like slaves on a plantation. Um, but I just want to say, this whole immigration thing is kind of a slap in the face to me, to black people, because it says, hey, you can be illegal and still get all the rights. We had to fight for the rights. We still don't have all our rights. We still don't have all our rights. It looks like we have our rights. But I guess you could ask Trayvon Martin about rights. He didn't have the right to walk down the street to get some Skittles. He didn't have the right. Because if he had had the right, he'd probably still be alive today. But Zimmerman felt like he didn't have the right to do that. And Zimmerman won his case. So I guess that means that those people down there in Florida felt like, well, he didn't have the right to be walking around in the dark, drinking iced tea, the knife. So until we can correct that kind of stuff, my comment on illegal immigrants is, yeah, the word is illegal. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that somebody brought you here illegally. I'm sorry that they did it that way. And so, as this article is saying, how many people have to wait in line, how long it takes, how many of the immigrant visa applications are likely to be approved. That's one of the questions in this article. This article is written by David Crary. He's an AP national writer. And the answer was, under current U.S. law, immigrant visas for the 2014 fiscal year are limited to no more than 226,000 for family-sponsored applications and about 150,000 for job-related applicants. But boy, when you look at the numbers of applicants, goodness gracious, let me go back. Yeah. According to the latest State Department figures, there are 4.2 million immigrant visa applications pending. 4.2 million. Oh my goodness, with a limit of no more than 226,000 for family sponsored applications. Lord have mercy. So then the question then comes up, well, should the illegal immigrants be at the front of that line or the back of that line? I don't know. Think for yourself. Should the illegal immigrants that are here be put in the front of the line of the people that have been waiting for 10, 12, 14 years in the countries where they live, waiting legally, patiently to get here? I don't know. You tell me. Uh, so that's just something to think about. You know, I know it's a debate and nobody wants to offend anybody, but come on, y'all. It's illegal. If I do something illegal, I'm going to pay the price, whatever that is. Whatever that is. As an African American, most assuredly, if I do something illegal, they will be taking me away. I'm not going to get past the legal system. It's not going to happen. So I guess my thought then is, oh well, deal with it, because that's the country we live in. So people are just going to have to deal with it. It's unfortunate that so many people came here, brought children, that were not brought into the country correctly, legally. It's a shame that they did that to their own children. And now everybody wants us to pay the general populace to kind of pay the price for that. I don't know. Something about it to me seems a little imbalanced and a little unfair and a bit unreasonable of an expectation. But, like I said, I don't agree with a lot of people on a lot of things. So I don't mean I have a couple friends who are here illegally. I love them to death. One of them served in the military, which just blows my mind. Now, to me, if you go to war and you fight, if you're an illegal immigrant and you fight in a war for the United States or you serve in the military, that they should make you a citizen. That's you put your life on the line. That I can see. But you just came here looking for a better life, but you came the wrong way. I'm sorry. You came the wrong way. If I drive the wrong way down the street, I'm going to get a ticket. If I park in the wrong place, the wrong way, I'm going to get a ticket. If I solve a dispute that I have with a person and assault them or something like that, the wrong way, yeah, I'm going to go to jail or I'm going to get charges brought up against me. So I think that the fact that you're not getting charges brought up against you and you don't have to go to jail, to me, that's the plus. But what do I know? I'm sure somebody's going to say, oh, she sounds like a real jerk. But I'm just talking like a grown-ass citizen, and I'm just telling you, that's the reality of life. Now, let's see. The next thing in the news, the Antarctic passengers. Who really cares? I don't even understand why that's like mainstream news. And then the last thing before we get into what I really want to talk about is this Texas library offers glimpse of bookless future. This $2.3 million library might be the most notable for what it does not have: any actual books. So what happens when the power goes out and all the books don't work? What happens on a day like that? We just a day without a book. A day without a book. Lord help us. That's all I can say. Some of these decisions are innovative. Yeah, they are. But they're not necessarily what's best. A kid should have a book in his hand, a book that he can turn some pages to. Where's a book? I got a book somewhere around here. I keep books. Yay, here's one.